Hello everyone, it's Carlos Bedoya here. It's been a while since I uploaded a video, and today I have this new idea that I would like to record myself learning a piece from scratch. This is actually a monumental piece. This is the Fugue to the Second Violin Sonata by Johann Sebastian Bach. For context, I have already learned the third and the fourth movement, and now I'm going to be learning the first and the second, so I thought it would be interesting to showcase the process that I go through when learning a piece from scratch. So I have not even read this. I'm going to be using the Manuel Parrueco arrangement, and as we go, I'll show you more or less what is my thought process and what is my process of actually learning the piece. This is also in an effort to also show to my students how I believe, in my opinion, what is the most efficient way to learn a piece, practicing strategies and so on. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's see how it goes. So this is the second violin sonata. This is the Fugue by Johann Sebastian Bach. So you will see that I have the score pulled out right here. See if it works. Great. And I'm just gonna start from the very beginning. Since I already know the work, I am not gonna sight read from beginning to end. I'm just gonna focus on small measures and so on. So I know that this is the subject. So right away, I noticed there is not a slur right there, but my first instinct was to add one. Let's see. So without it. Okay, now I see right away that there's a fingering suggested right there to climb on the third string. Now, one thing that I don't like is the 1-1 that will be required in these two lines, because it takes away a little bit of independence, or the independence of the lines. So I'm going to try to find an alternative. For instance, I like that already a little bit better. I did 1 and then 2. Now, before I commit to a fingering, I'm just going to let it kind of like simmer for a little bit. I'll keep going. A little bit out of tune. Okay. Now, from the very beginning of the piece, I'm worrying about that melodic inflection of the D sharp. And then a fourth. Here it is. Okay, so now I'm just kind of like thinking about the subject. I want to feel a release right there, releasing into that C. Then right away, I kind of want to add a slur right there. I don't know why. So there is that chromatic line that is very characteristic of this fugue. So from the very beginning, I'm going to annotate for myself the subject entrances. And in this case, this is kind of like a countersubject, that chromatic descending line. So I'm going to give a yellow for the subject. In this case, it picks it up right here. And then I'm going to give another color to the countersubject. So in this case, let's go for blue. Why not? So this one is the beginning and the end. The beginning of the countersubject and also the end of the subject. Alright, so I'm just gonna do that much so far. Countersubject. Also, I want to be very aware of that tension and resolution between the F and the E right here. Do that again. again from the beginning of the counter subject. Fourth, perfect fourths. And so on. So that's another part of the subject that is very important. All right. So I think for now, I'm gonna commit to that fingering. So I'm gonna change that fingering. I don't wanna climb on the same string. So with the magic of this iPad, I'm gonna delete this fingering. Actually, I do wanna point out that maybe later I'm gonna change my mind. But as of right now, for the sake of repeating the same fingerings and making sure that my muscle memory is gonna be developed correctly, I would like to make sure that I always do the same fingers. So 2, so this is 2 right here. 1, then probably open. Let me see. Probably. It could also be closed, but I'm gonna go with open. 3, 1. So far we have that much. Now he's suggesting going, because he was climbing, that's totally fine too. I don't know. They're both fine. Of course, the fourth string has a little bit a more distinct color. I just don't. I'm not sure that I like this 1-1 right here, unless I kind of like mute it with my right hand. I think that's a possibility. Let's see if I can. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm not convinced. So I'm gonna decide on that later. So I'm gonna keep going. Up to there. So that's clearly the end of a phrase. So I'm gonna mark that. I'm obsessed with note taking and kind of like taking notes of everything. Even though I know that's the end of the phrase, I still like to mark it for when I practice it without the guitar. Alright, now a couple of things that I need to be mindful of from the very beginning is a lot of those melodic and harmonic inflections. So take a look at measure 4 right here. This one. Notice how we need to be mindful of this chromaticism. So we have, it's clearly kind of like an implied B7 releasing into E major. So tension resolution right there. And then we have that, how do we call that? We have from the G sharp to G natural. F natural. It's beautiful. Is that right? That E sounds interesting. I'm not sure that that is correct. I guess it is. Just in case, I have prepared also the original manuscript, just in case I have doubts. So for instance, right here, I have it. What is this? Not unzip. I don't know why it opened that. Oh, it is an advertisement. You know what? I'm just gonna upload it here to Fourscore, so that I don't have to do that. Upload it to solo rep. There you go. Okay, so far so good. And here's that Bach violin score. So in case I have any questions, I can refer back right away. So this is the entrance that I was referring to from here. It is indeed correct. I don't know why I was doubting that. It just sounded, I think the intervals were interesting to my ear. So going back. All right. So okay, so we have the first episode right here. Good. Okay, so I'm just gonna remember right here, episode 1. We can talk about little by little about the formal composition of a fugue. We have the subject, the countersubject sometimes. The subjects have to enter in different voices, and then after all the voices have made their entrances, the first moment when we don't have the subject, then that's definitely the first episode of the exposition of the fugue. So, going on from the beginning. Now, I think I want to elongate this C so that you can hear the entrance of the harmony of the counterpoint. So, la, do, si, re, do. So that's, maybe I need to do a bar right there. There we go. Oh, sorry. That's a resonance from the low A string and E string. So every now and then I'm muting with my right hand so that you don't hear that. So. Now, as soon as I play the next A, I mute the C. So, La, Sol, mute. La, Sol, La. So, let it ring. Right there, when I lifted the C, I heard the open E by accident. There you go. Now, something interesting is happening. So, as you might have already discussed with a lot of musicians, some people recommend not to listen to recordings before you learn something. Some other people recommend to listen to recordings. I am one of the ones that I really rely a lot on my ear. So I do listen to different recordings. I try to listen to several interpretations so that I am not kind of like influenced by only one recording. However, I have to admit that I think I've been influenced by one recording that I've heard in the past where they articulate the chromatic descending line a little bit. And I kind of like that. So for now, I'm gonna go with it. So it's more or less like, it's probably because of the violin, which is hard to do double and triple stops, I assume. I kind of like it anyway. I could play a legato. Actually, not right there. Then it will have to be, because it's on the third string, so. So that will be legato. I'm not sure if I want to commit to that much work. It's hard. Kind of like with the third finger going down. So that's the only way to make that legato. I know that Bach's music is very hard because of the thick texture. So I'm going to anticipate that issue, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to articulate a little bit. That I am pretty sure that's going to benefit me in the future when it comes to coherence. So I'm going to articulate just a little tiny bit. Let's go for now, kind of like for a 16-note articulation. I actually don't do this too much, the actual notation of the rests, but just a quick reminder that I'm gonna do that. So. I think I'm doing more than a 16th. So I'm just gonna see what I'm doing naturally, and then I'm gonna notate it later. All right. Now there's a couple of things that I still don't like. That third measure is not convincing yet, so I'm gonna work on it. Rising. There we go. Now I want to be careful not to make this harmony. I personally prefer the independence of the lines right there, so I think I'm gonna try to avoid them ringing over each other. I lost the score for a moment right there. Is it good? Yeah. So I'm gonna work on this sol muting. So right there, very quickly, I want to show what I'm doing with my left hand. I'm doing what I call a lazy finger. So as I press the F sharp, the flesh of my third finger is muting my third string, like lazy technique. But it's very effective for counterpoint. Let me go back to this. I forgot I need to do a bar right there, so I'm gonna remind myself, little bar right here on the first fret. All right. You notice how I did those melodic inflections right there? So the release of tension into the downbeat. Now, I've taken care of some of the left hand fingerings. I also want to make sure that I have my right hand fingerings decided from the very beginning, and then I will change later on if necessary. So very simple right there. I'm just going to do IMI. I personally like to do my right hand fingerings on top. So it seems like I decided not to do the slur after all. Okay, right there. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna erase this from momentarily. And there we go. Let's see how that feels. Okay, good so far. All right, I don't want to forget about this one right here. And for the sake of uniformity, I'm gonna go with all blue for my fingerings. So I'm gonna do this again. I don't know, sometimes I'm a little bit obsessive like that. Blue, so we'll get 2 1 0 3 1. Let's see that. Here, like here, I'm just gonna go A M A, probably M I M, probably. This was definitely a P right there. What am I doing? Let's see. I feel like I'm doing a conscious negative string crossing right there. Probably gonna go PP right there. I might change it later. We'll see. We'll see how that feels. Alright. So far we're still only in the first, basically the first phrase. It's a very slow process. Could also repeat I is slow enough Although when it goes fast. Yeah, it's still slow enough that I could repeat. We'll see. Okay, definitely. Then I right here. Probably I, maybe P. I put in parentheses. We'll see how I feel about that. I forgot a bar right there. Thirds, bar. Good. Now, it just so happens that I'm already kind of like memorizing it, but I'm not trying to memorize it. I always remember a very important quote that I heard from Jason Vieau. I had the privilege of studying with Jason Vieau for a couple of years, and he always mentioned that speed and the memory are a result of good practice. And I've actually come to learn that myself, that as long as I do very conscious and elaborate and deliberate practice, usually the speed and the memorization comes as a second-hand product, very naturally, very organically. So that's something that I also want to invite you to think about as you learn any new piece. All right, so going on. Things are starting to get a little bit hairy. Before I commit to a fingering, I would like to play very slow to make sure that I am not associating the piece with tension, but rather I'm associating the piece with me being in control. So right here things are starting to get a little bit more difficult, so let's take a look at that. Good, all right. That's a stretch right there. So right there, I'm thinking whether to play the low G with my thumb or with my finger, with my index finger. It's a big stretch, but it is possible. That's rough. Right there, very important to let go of my second finger so that I'm not stretching 2 and 4, but rather just 1 and 4. As opposed to 1, 2, 4, it's just 1 and 4. So I need to be mindful of that. Let go of 2, and that makes the stretch slightly easier. Although 2 needs to resolve it up to G, so let me see how that sounds like if I leave it down. Yeah, it's too much stress from my hand, so let me try without it. Letting go, and then placing it slightly later. I think I like that a little bit better. Yeah, let me show that with the big screen. So if stretch, let go 2, then right before the release I place 2 on G, before I let go of the A. I didn't like that accent. There you go. I'm all right with that. Pretty happy with that. Oof. No. I need to make sure that I relax into the A and stretch. And I need to build into my choreography the relaxation of the open strings. I cannot let my left hand be active through that. So I'm gonna practice that. Stretch, relax. So let's do it from the big screen. There is no tension right here. There is no need to be tense right here. Then right here I do have an extension, but then right here it's just open strings. I need to build that relaxation from the very beginning. Okay. considering maybe 2-1 right there. I kind of like that, 2-1. I don't know. So the difference is the stretch between 1 and 2 here, which makes 2 and 4 much easier, or the stretch between 3 and 4, and this makes the stretch between 1 and 3 easier. So it's like the pick your poison kind of thing. So I kind of liked 1, 2 because I'm using 3 afterwards, so I don't have to do the double movement of switching my third finger from the 4th string down to the 1st string. So I think I'm gonna commit to 1 right there, right here. 1 and 2 I meant. So 2 and 1. I personally like to do left hand fingerings underneath and right hand fingerings on top. I don't know why. So, and then I notice that I'm still tense after the open string, so I'm gonna try to work on that. Relax, stretch, relax. No. Without the accent. I'm starting to think whether the episode starts right here or right here. I'll decide on that later. I'm gonna continue just working on this. Don't let go of the A. And build that relaxation. Tension resolution, tense, release. Don't let go of the A. There we go. Alright, let's go up to there. Alright, so I have a whole system and a half already. I more or less understand what my hands need to be doing, so that's good. I don't know why I lost the score for a moment. I understand what my hands need to be doing. I still feel like I'm a little bit tense, and I'm not too happy about how I am articulating the countersubject, the chromatic line. So I'm gonna work on that first. Also trying to build in relaxation from the very beginning. So that one I'm letting ring. With the fingering I'm using, it is impossible to let the G sharp ring because I'm playing that A also on the 3rd string, which makes me realize why Barrueco was going for maybe. Actually not. That's not what he's going for. He's not doing it on the 4th string. Let's try for now. Let's see how it feels to articulate it as an 8th note. Off, 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 off. Yeah. What if we try to hold it down? So it will have to be. I'll have to fall here somehow on the 4th string. Now that's gonna make things very difficult, very, very difficult, especially when we're gonna have 3 voices going on at the same time. Yeah, so let's try with an 8th note. Yeah, that was horrible. For now, let's see how we feel about that. I might change my mind later, it's important to note. But I still want to keep track of whatever decisions I have taken so far. Okay, let's see. Notice how I'm muting sometimes with my right, sometimes with my left. Left, right with planting, left. And there was kind of like both. Let it ring. Let's see. Actually, I don't have to let the high A ring. It's a drop of an octave, kind of like in the beginning. Nice. I don't have a low E. Nice. This is basically kind of like just like a 5-1. Same here. In this case, it's a 5th. It's okay. So. So I don't have to let the A ring, so because I don't have to let the A ring, now I'm gonna build in that relaxation right there. So maybe I'm gonna change my mind about 1, 2, and just relax right there because that's less of a stretch. Yeah. But now I don't like that double 3, so I think I'm gonna stay with 2. About this measure right here. Right. And let my left hand relax on the open strings. It's just to left hand alone. Not too harsh. That's a stretch. Nice. No, it's not good. That's it. Train that release of the second finger. Slowly. And build that relaxation. You see how my left arm was so tense right there? I need to build that from the very beginning. Relax it. So tense. And relax. I still need to be active, but I need to make sure that I'm shaving any unnecessary tension. Alright, so let's see what we have so far. There we go. Nice. So far I'm pretty happy with it. For my own health of my concentration, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Alright, we're returning right here. So I took a little break. We have done very good work with the exposition, the first subject exposition. So what I would like to do now is get to know more or less the rest of the piece. So I'm not gonna try to sight read all the voices, but I'm gonna try to maybe follow some of the active voices. So, and I'm gonna try my best to not feel tense, to be in control, because again, psychologically speaking, I don't want to associate this piece with tension. So from the very beginning, I'm gonna associate it with me being in control. So let's go from the entrance on measure 7. So from here, see? All right, I'm just gonna read a little bit more. Horrible. Sequences. C major. Here's that descending line. Oh, wait. Yeah, I already know the piece, how it sounds. Love this tension. Oh, sorry. Sequencing. Wow, this is hard. It's just like a big arrival right here. I'm gonna notate it. Probably, I assume the beginning of the development section, something like that. 16 notes. I need to figure out how that's gonna work. Is that D natural or D sharp? I think it's a D sharp. I'm gonna... Well, because they're setting the precedent with this G sharp, so that's why I'm assuming it's a D sharp, but we'll see. There's D sharp. D sharp again. Oh, that's gonna be hard, huh? I'm ended up reading the other voices. So I'm gonna have to stop right there for a moment, because I noticed that I like the piece, so I'm getting excited reading it. However, because the piece is so hard, I'm having to kind of like, I'm starting to become a little bit tense because I want to read all the lines, and I don't want that. Even though I could a little bit slower, I'm going to refrain from playing all the lines again because of that psychological aspect of associating the work and playing the fugue with relaxation. And that's very important. Your first impression of a work it's gonna stay with you for a long time, and then it's a habit that you need to build, remaining in control and relaxed. So I'm gonna go on from there, but I'm gonna try my best to control myself and not try to read the whole thing. Wait a second. Relax. There's a subject. So far so good. Wow, this is gonna be a lot of work. Seems like a big arrival right there. E minor. No, relaxed. Relax. C major. Relaxed. Ooh, look at that. That's gonna be something I need to work on. It's easier if I add the slur. Probably misread something right there. So sequence. Relax. Need cadence right there into C. This is a long work. Nice ascending line. Nice call and response. No, that's not right. So harmonic instability. Sequence. No. That's not right. Relax. Oh, an ascending line. Nice. Nice. This keeps going. Wow. So another cadence in E minor right here. So notice how I'm also notating the cadences so that I can also plan my practicing strategy. Subject. Oh, wait a second. This is the an inversion. Look at that. So down, up, and it's just up, down. Wow. Inverted. Cadence. That's something I'm gonna have to work. Subject, the head of the subject. Look at that! An inversion of the countersubject. So, wow. My fingers are horrible. This is great. A lot of sequencing. Oh, sorry. Cadence in G major. Wow. Relax. Felt like an important cadence. I'm gonna notate it just in case. E minor. That's a limitation. Feels like we're nearing the end. Too fast. D minor. Not very definitive cadence, but one of the first times that we're very clearly in D minor. So I'm going to notate it still. Yeah, we're very clearly here in D minor. All right. Hey, subject. You know, wow. D major. C major. Love this. Love this. Relax. I breathe out so that I kind of like trick my body into relaxing because I know I'm getting tense. I will there is. Nice. Nice quarter tones. This is great. Ooh. Nice. No, this should be major, no? Oh, minor, what? I see over there we're nearing the end. No, that's not right. There you go. Back home to A minor. Cadence. Probably an inversion of some kind. I have to work on fingerings. Oh, look at this. Oof. Wow, this is a monumental work. So this is an important part of my learning process because I need to see first an idea of what the cadences are doing, the tonalities I'm dealing with. I also can anticipate difficult parts. There is a lot of, I think, work that needs to be done with bringing out the clarity of the subject. And also, I think a lot of ingredients that I would like to change in order to make the subject more clear, the countersubjects and so on. I don't anticipate any crazy difficult sections. Like it is the case, for instance, one of the hardest fugues I've ever done is 997, and I actually like to call it the finger breaking fugue because you have to come up with such crazy fingerings in order to make it work musically. So this gives me a very clear idea that I don't think it's going to be as difficult, technically speaking, as the fugue. Of course, musically speaking, it's very complex. There's a lot of inversions, a lot of interplay between the voices, and the manipulations are just basically genius. So, to be completely honest, this is my first read through of the piece, and I think we are in October. I think I can probably get this like slow, more or less almost performance, like at a moderate tempo, slowly, probably within 6 months. It's gonna still lack a lot of maturity for a piece like this to feel like you're in control, like you are really not worried about the memory and so on. It's gonna take a lot longer, especially for me, for the amount of practice that I'm doing right now. So let's see if I can do it in 6 months. So we're almost in November. You would see November, December. So probably by April would be a nice goal for me to try to have this by at least one performance. And these videos are gonna help me kind of like to remain accountable. So I'm gonna try my best to only practice it while I'm recording myself, and then you're probably gonna have videos that are super long. I might consider, if I'm doing kind of like metronome work, I might consider kind of like speeding that part up. We'll see how that goes, but let me know how you liked this idea, and I'm very excited for it. So far today, I only feel good about the work we did for the first system. So we'll see how slowly we move, but we're moving slowly but surely. All right, so I hope you like this content. Let me know if you have any questions, suggestions. My social media accounts are in the description of this video. This is Carlos Bedoya, and I hope you liked it. See you on the next one. Bye bye.